guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So we're continuing on with my Atari vs. Intellivision series, and I've been working my way through the Coleco titles that appear on both systems, and I've already done Donkey Kong, and I've done Donkey Kong Jr., and I thought, why not venture? I've talked about this game, quite a few times on my channel, I think. I even did a comparison very long time, I think like back when I first started my channel. I did Atari versus Intellivision versus Coleco, and I kind of just played the games. So I thought, why not revisit that and just focus on just the Atari and the Intellivision version. This game, my first experience was on the Intellivision. That was when I first heard of this game. I never got to play it in the arcade. I'd never heard of it beforehand. And when my brother brought it home, I remember playing it and thought, this is a really cool game. It kind of reminiscent of one of my more favorite games on the Intellivision, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, where you get to explore and look for things and find treasures. So this game is pretty much the same idea. You're going through kind of like a maze, going through into rooms, and you're trying to find treasure. And your character's name is Winky, of all names, and you're armed with a bow and arrow. Now, I have recently played Venture Reloaded for the Atari, which is a homebrew. Well, it's actually a hack, I think, more than a homebrew, where they kind of tweaked the game and they made it a little bit more like the arcade. Anyways, let's take a look at the Atari version first, and then we'll compare it to the Intellivision. Okay, so we got the game up. It pretty much just starts off like this. There's no intro screen at all. I've been noticing that quite a few Atari games really just start up on the actual home screen of the game, like the first screen of the game. It's okay. It doesn't say Venture anywhere. It doesn't give a date. It doesn't say anything. It's just literally just the pause screen. But that's fine. Anyways, let's get to playing it. I have this set to easy, just to make life easy. I have it set to easy. So let's start the game. So you got that sound. It's kind of an irritating noise, but I don't know. I can't remember now if that was actually the arcade as well. But yeah. So you enter the rooms and you gotta battle these guys. If you're a fan of Berserk, you'll probably say that this is very similar. In fact, I actually did a video on that, the similarities between this and Berserk. And the fact that you go into a room kind of shaped the same way, and you gotta beat these little guys, and then much like in Berserk, those hall monsters that you saw outside eventually come in. There he is right there. You can't kill him. So much like the evil Otto character in Berserk. But yeah, so you kind of go around to each room. It's got some okay sounds. You can make out what they're supposed to be. Those are walls, and they're moving back and forth. You get the little intros, entering the room noises. You have to be careful with this game with the characters. When you shoot them, you cannot touch them, because even though they're dead, they'll still kill you. So you don't want to touch them. Yep, here comes that hall monster guy. That just means you don't really have a lot of time to really mess around. You literally get in, get the treasure, and get out. Now, controlling him is actually fairly smooth in this. There's no problems with the controls whatsoever. He moves pretty fluid. The game gives you enough time to get in and get out. You don't feel like you're anything sluggish or anything like that. So now we're on the second board. Unfortunately, the Atari version only has 2 boards, so this is the second one. And then it'll actually just go back to that first screen and just kind of progress as far as the characters getting harder to defeat. They move faster and stuff like that. So we actually are absent a full board on this, which is not uncommon with some of these arcade ports. As we saw in Donkey Kong, there was only the 2 boards, and then Donkey Kong Jr., there was only the 3 boards. So this one kind of followed suit, only gave you the 2 boards. I don't know if I'm calling it boards or levels. It's really a level with a bunch of levels. Maybe a level with a bunch of rooms. Now, the one thing I kind of don't like about this version is the rooms don't change when you exit them. In other words, they don't really give you any kind of indication that you completed that room, other than you just can't simply walk back in there again. So if you've been wandering around and I don't know, you might forget that you've already done a room and have to search around, but oh, that's a problem. There we go. I mean, it's not a big deal. Most of the cases you'll go in order of you know, kind of go around, or you'll just move on to the next one that's in line. It'd be nice if it kind of filled in and you can actually see, okay, I've already completed those. And of course, it's just going to get harder from here on in. I find that this one, the Atari 2600 one, it is kind of challenging. It takes a while to get used to it, and especially these hall monster guys. They really scare you, because they move fast, and you got to get out of their way. Okay, so now I have the Intellivision one up. So you can see this one actually does have a title screen. Not very exciting. I mean, it's just a yellow border, and it says Coleco Presents Venture at Coleco 1982. And no, that's not a Twitter handle. I don't know why it says at Coleco. But anyways, yeah, it would have been nice if they had a little bit of a picture, like some artwork. But at least, you know, you do have a title screen, which was quite common for Intellivision games. They pretty much had a title screen. And the other thing is, it doesn't mention, like, this game was made by, I think it was Xity, is how you pronounce it. Or I could be saying it wrong, maybe it's Zeddy. But it doesn't mention that anywhere. Just a thought there. So let's get going. So 1 or 2 players. Obviously I'm player 1. And I'm going to go with the skill of 1 as well. Hit enter. There we go. So this is the added screen that's not in the Atari version. And you can see, okay, this has the sound going on throughout. Different sound, no. Probably more liking to the arcade port. And you can see there's the hall monsters. They are moving a little bit slow. And your Winky guy is a little bit bigger. But let's get in here. So this one definitely has a better soundtrack going on. Seems like there's lots of different sounds going on. And that was what I was talking about in the Atari one. I like how it fills in when you leave the room. It's not a big thing, like I said. I mean, it's just a small little thing just a little detail that just kind of got left out of the Atari version. I love the little charging music. That was probably one of my favorite parts of this whole game when I was a kid, was the music on this one. Every room having its own little sound. You know, you get a little bit of difference in each room. There's the skeletons. I used to think these things were teddy bears. I didn't know they were skeletons. Or their mummies or something, but they're definitely not teddy bears like I thought they were. Let's check out the hall monster, because he'll come into this game as well. Just wait around. Seems like it takes him a little bit longer on the Intellivision one. Maybe it's because I'm in the first, there he is. He's red in this one, instead of green, which is weird. Alright, so we got some more sounds. A lot of sounds in this game. I mean, I really like that. It kind of tells you, okay, so I got the 4 treasures, so now we're moving on to the next scene. Board, world. See, they're green, so it should really be green when he enters the screen. I like this room. When you get the treasure, the enemies change. But I mean, so far, this version is quite similar to the actual arcade version. And like I said, they did fix that with that Venture Reloaded, which I believe is now for sale on the Atari Age website. I think I saw it there. The Venture Reloaded one. And it plays on the Atari 2600 much like this one. This one we got a little wall there, we have to wait. There we go. Whoa! I find the monsters kind of disappear a little bit faster in this one. Just seems like that anyways. Oh no. Of course, when you die, he has a frowning face. It's a good thing you never run out of arrows in this game. You don't want to shoot it again because it will rematerialize, so you have to wait till it completely goes away, which is a pain. Oh. All monsters are gonna come if I don't get out of here. Level 2. I guess that's what they're calling it. They're levels. Okay. So now we're on to level 3, which was missing from the Atari version. Again, I'm pretty sure it's in the reloaded one. So if you want to get the full experience and play this on an Atari, you'll have to go for the reloaded version. And you can see, like, Winky, he's got his arrow there. Again, in the Atari one, the detail was a little bit off. It was just like a little dot to symbolize that he had a weapon in his hand. But both versions, you don't actually see the bow, which is, you know, just a minor detail that was left out. Let's get all the rooms. These little robot-looking things. I don't know what they are. Got me a shield or something. Unfortunately, the treasures don't do anything. They're literally just for points and the objective of the game. They don't give you any kind of powers, or you can't do anything. It'd be neat if there was a Venture too, where Winky can actually get some different powers and stuff. Maybe get some speed to him, or warping ability or something. And that's pretty much the Intellivision version, and it's going to go flip back to the first board. And you have to go for the treasures again. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I think they're both really playable. They're both really fun, and they both do a great job, kind of mimicking the arcade. The Atari one actually is surprisingly fun, and it's challenging. It's not like it's easy. I actually find the Intellivision version to be a little bit easier to play. Now, keep in mind I played both on the very first setting. I didn't put it on, like, you know, the Atari one on the hard setting, which you can do using the switches, the A-B switches. There's different combinations on how to get it to, you know, be the 1 to 4 difficulty. And I usually play it on easy, because I just always do that. But, I mean, I find that actually the Atari version holds up pretty well, and, you know, other than missing that third stage, that third level, I think it's a really good game. It's really fun. The Intellivision one obviously is a lot better when it comes to sound, and when it comes to, you know, having all the boards, and, you know, just having a little bit better graphic detail. But other than that, I think both are very playable, and I would have no problems with either one. But like I said, the Atari Reloaded one actually does bring it up to the same level, I think, as the Intellivision version. As far as, you know, looking a lot more like the arcade and actually functioning like the arcade. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you think of Venture for the Atari 2600 and for the Intellivision. Obviously, it was ported onto other systems as well. The ColecoVision one, for instance, which is really good. And I did that video a long time ago where I actually did compare that to the other two. But that was one of my older videos. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.